Hi, I'm Alistair Kroll, and welcome to episode 9 of 11 lessons about data. I've put together these 11 things about data as a series to help you think better about the world in which we live and how to deal with the data that's all around us. If you've captured data and analyzed data, you're probably going to want to communicate it and share it with other people. So here are some thoughts about how to communicate and share information. The first question you got to ask is, what's the purpose of sharing this information? What behavior am I trying to change? We mentioned in an earlier lesson that the metrics you're trying to change should be no more complex than a golf score. In fact, golf is the perfect metric because it's simple. I know the number. It's 3 or 5. It's comparative. I have an idea of what good is. There's a par. If I take 6 shots to get something in the hole and it should only take 4 shots, that's bad. If I do it in 1, that's good. And it's relatively easy to understand the data when I share it. So keeping it simple is incredibly important. Many of you have a boss who wants simple numbers. They say, don't tell me the details. That's your job. Keep it simple. Well, keeping things simple is difficult. As Einstein famously said, it can scarcely be denied that the supreme goal of all theory is to make the irreducible basic elements as simple and as few as possible without having to surrender the adequate representation of a single datum of experience. That's what Einstein said, but people remember him saying as simple as possible, but no simpler. Clearly, if you want your data to be quoted and memorized, you need to think about how to simplify it to show people the conclusion and let them drill down into the supporting information. Oftentimes, visualizing stuff matters, and it's very easy to get trapped by badly visualizing things. For example, if you wanted to look at data by state, you can show information here that shows 2 different things, but you're not really showing anything useful. This map looks like blue has a significantly larger sort of landscape of the map than green. But if you take the electoral districts in the United States and you look at population and you adjust things for population, you get a very different map of the world. So when you're presenting information, you have to make sure that how you communicate that information controls for things like population if your data is related to people. A very important job for people who are trying to communicate information is to decide when you're going to go fishing and when you're going to teach people to fish. If your boss just wants a simple answer, you're going to say, here's the data you want. This is the conclusion I think you're going to draw. These are the reasons why I think that. And here's the rest of the data if you want to explore it. You've done most of the fishing by reaching the conclusions. You're not just handing them data and saying, here you go, have fun. But increasingly, we are able to hand people data. There are amazing advances in technology, from pivot tables, which are part of spreadsheets, to artificial intelligence and data notebooks that are really democratizing data science. I mean, today, if you're looking at spreadsheets like Excel or Google Sheets, these are free features built into those spreadsheets. In this case, I've got a data set here, and on the right, there's a green field that says Explore, which is suggesting ways I might analyze the data. Believe it or not, if you have data in Google Sheets, it will suggest to you, hey, type in a question about your data. Here's some stuff I found. I don't have to tell it anything. It's just going in and going, oh, these are the top 5 things in this category. I noticed that's a time field, so here's stuff over time. So increasingly, you can give a tool to people and have them use that tool to explore the data themselves. For developers, this gets a little more technical, but there are things called notebooks. This is a Jupyter notebook. It uses Python. It's a programming language. And as I change the software or the code in this page, it updates the graphs. So this is like interactive code and reporting. This is going to change in the future even more. You should expect that in the next decade, we will have smart agents that will help the average person answer questions themselves. So if you're communicating information, you first need to think about, what are you trying to get someone to do? How much fishing are you going to do versus teaching them to fish? Is there a way to give them data in a format they can explore? And have you clearly stated what you did, what the question was, what your answer or recommendation is, and how to dig deeper if they want to question the data and get a sense of whether it's true? In the next lesson, we're going to talk a little about adversarial data, because there's a lot of falsehood in data out there, and thinking about what's true is an incredibly important part of critical thinking about data science. Thanks.